Hi, so this is my review for the first episode of season 4 of Scandal. And I liked it. It wasn't very exciting, but I guess there really wasn't a real cliffhanger at the end of the last season. And I guess we all kind of knew that Olivia Pope would end up coming back to Washington. So the first question that they were asking in all of the previews is, where is Olivia Pope? So now we find out that she was on this private island 100 miles off the coast of Zanzibar. And I had to look that up, and you can see a picture of a map here, so you kind of have an idea of where it could possibly be. She changed her name, was going as Julia Baker. And so while she was on the island with Jake, so I was happy that Jake was still there, she received a letter addressed to her as Julia, and the letter was letting her know that Harrison's body was found and that he's dead. So she kind of felt obligated to go back, plan a funeral, see him off, all that stuff. And what bothered me, I guess, throughout the episodes, is I guess I didn't have a clear understanding of what the time frame was, how long she was actually gone for. But I guess that really doesn't matter, because if you've watched the show, you know by the end of the episode, she's fully back into being Olivia Pope. So I just wanted to give, I guess, a rundown or a status report of what everybody else was doing, or what they're doing at this moment when this episode started. So the letter that got to Olivia/Julia was sent by Quinn. And it seems that Quinn had been spending all her time trying to track down Olivia to find out where she was. And she ended up tracking her by tracking wine sales, which absolutely makes sense because she seems to drink a lot of wine. And it shows how good Quinn is. If you think about what Quinn was doing when she first got there and how much she's learned from Huck and all the other gladiators, I mean, she's really come along. Abby is now the press secretary for the president. Huck is now going by the name Randy, and he's an IT/electronics help, servicer. I don't know what that word is, but he fixes things. That's all I guess I can say. I'm assuming it's like one of those Geek Squad type things like Best Buy has. And obviously Harrison is dead. And so when Olivia goes back to see all of them, of course Quinn, she wanted her to come back the whole time. But when she approaches Abby and Huck, they are pretty angry with her, which I guess I was surprised with. But depending on how much time has passed, they could still be really angry. And it didn't look like anyone was going to come back together. Olivia told all of them that she was there to plan the funeral for Harrison and that she wanted them all to come. And at the funeral, they were all there and they all kind of came in one by one, and then they eventually left without really talking to Olivia. And there were some meetings in between. She had a little run-in with Abby, talking about how Abby was so angry and she's never held a grudge against Abby, and now she's doing that towards her and she's really upset. You know, all those little kind of fight things. David, who used to be dating Abby and seems to not be doing so now, at the end of the last season was left some files from B613 to go through. And he said he went through them and color-coded them from, really scary to, like, oh my gosh, scary, using different color coding. And it sounds like he's still kind of working on it, but not really. But at the end of the episode, David was offered a shot at being the Attorney General of the U.S., which seems kind of odd. I mean, I guess Cyrus wants to reward him for being quiet. I don't know. It seemed kind of strange that that's the way they would go, but of course they need to do that. Alright, so as far as Cy goes, it sounds like he's still doing the same type of thing, babysitting the president. He does have a new hairdo, which is very noticeable. And then they had a guest star from, I think it's Portia de Rossi, I think is her name. And she is representing the head of the RNC, which I think stands for the Republican National Council Committee something, whatever. She's the head of the Republican Party, basically. And he was referring to her as Lizzie Bear, which was kind of funny. And when I saw them standing next to each other, I realized that their hairstyle was basically the same. And I'm going to put a picture up so you can see and compare how fluffy their hair is, and they're both blonde, and it was funny. It made me laugh, but I guess it's kind of a minor thing. It looks like if she's going to be a constant person, it looks like they're going to have some friction, because you have to remember that Fitz is a Republican and Cy is a Republican, but Cy is also a homosexual, and that's not great in the Republican Party, so there's probably already some clashing there. But that could be a good little conflict there for Cy. And it seems like at the end of the episode, like I said, Olivia's back into helping people and getting rid of scandals. And the scandal that came to her while she was in her apartment, and I didn't understand that either. If she's been gone and she had planned never to come back, why does she still have access to her apartment? And when she was in the apartment with Jake, the telephone rings. I mean, the landline rings. So not only is her apartment still there, but also her phone is still on, and it's the same phone number. So the senator has her assistant call Olivia to tell her that she needed her help and she's at some location. So Olivia goes there to help her, and a senator is kind of laying out in the middle of the floor. It looks like he must have fallen off the banister. I'm not quite sure. They didn't really explain it. But the female senator says that he sexually assaulted her and that she was pushing him away and he just fell and it wasn't her fault and he was dead. And Olivia checked him. Of course, he's not dead, and called the ambulance to come and pick him up and had the assistant take the female senator away. But as we go deeper and deeper into the story, obviously it's not going to be that easy. And Olivia gets the senator in touch with a lawyer, and the female senator, and then the male senator who was on the floor, he was in the hospital, so he's not actually dead. So they're just waiting to see if he's going to wake up and give his side of the story. But in talking with the female senator, Olivia realizes that she wasn't sexually assaulted by the senator, and that it was the assistant who was. And that's through, looking through evidence and talking to her and realizing she's lying. I mean, if you watch the show, you know what happened. So at first, Olivia's disgusted by the craziness of DC, because not only did the assistant get assaulted by this senator, but basically the female senator had her assistant spend more time with this senator because she knew that that girl was his type. So she kind of pushed her onto him, and then this thing happened. So that really upset Olivia, and she thought, I need to leave. I need to get out of here and go back to my island. But then after thinking about it and thinking about what happened to Harrison and what Harrison would want, she decided that she needs to stay and take care of this because this is her job and this is what a gladiator would do. So at the end of the episode, you see her standing up at the podium having a press conference with the assistant and the female senator to talk about what had happened that day. And then also after that, you see Huck and Quinn come back, and they're all doing their normal investigations without Abby. Obviously, she's busy and she's still the press secretary. And as she's walking through some building, the president, Fitz, is also there. And they have this moment where Olivia and Fitz walk by each other, not really looking at each other, but you can see that their hands kind of reach out towards each other really slightly. But you can see the picture there. And they just continue to walk away. Now, earlier on, when Fitz told Mellie that Olivia's back in town, she just said, just let me know when you see her again, because I want to know. And he's insistent that he's not going to be with her. He's not going to do anything with her. It's all going to be, it's all about Mellie now, and he's done, I guess, with Olivia. But we all know that's not true, because how many times has he said that? And Mellie is completely depressed over the death of her son. She's walking around in sweatpants, and they were talking about, well, she just started washing her hair again, so that's good, she's progressing. So she's basically walking around, drinking, eating, not paying attention to herself at all because she's just so upset. And then they slipped in there when Mellie and Fitz were talking that Fitz had some sort of suicide attempt. And he told Mellie never to mention it again. But they're going to have to mention it again because we're going to need to know every detail of that. But I'm sure as the weeks progress, we're going to find out more about all this. And I kind of want to see how long it's going to take for Fitz and Olivia to get back together. Because you know it's going to happen. And this is only episode 1. So I guess we'll see when that's going to start up again. Well, I think that's where I'm going to end my review of episode 1. Hopefully you like it, and I would love to get some feedback. I'm still deciding whether I'm going to do these reviews for each episode. I'm just going to see, who's interested, if I get good results, get good feedback, and how difficult it is for me to do these every week. And if you want more detail what happened in the episode, you can go to my website, which has the address here on the screen. And I'll have more detail of exactly what happened written in a blog post. Also, if you want to contact me through Twitter, you can do that, and it should be listed here in the middle of the screen as well. And if you do like this, please feel free to like this or subscribe to my YouTube channel. And with that, I think I'll end that there. And thanks for listening.